to share a little bit about our youth services programs. I've been at the center almost 10 years, been in youth services the whole time. My colleague is Courtney, and they shared last month about our host home program, which is again an incredible program, and I can talk about that forever. But I really wanted to talk a little bit about what else we do for youth, because a lot of the young people that we serve and work with are youth that are in school, middle school, high school, college, young adults. Some of them come from very supportive families, but a lot of folks know the center for our work with youth experiencing homelessness, because we are kind of a leader in that area. We have a great residential program and a great youth center in Hollywood, serving hundreds of youth with housing. But I wanted to focus a little bit more on the services that we have for youth that are, like I said, some of them are at home and in school, are thriving and doing well, but are needing a community. One of the statistics that we like to talk about is that research has shown that if an LGBTQ youth has one affirming adult in their life, the chances of them kind of struggling with identity issues, mental health issues, so suicidality just drops extremely. It drops to really low levels because of having that affirming adult. Again, if it can be a family member like y'all, that's amazing. But also, it's not a family member for everybody. And so we do programs so that young people can feel like they belong somewhere, that they have people that support them, love them, are encouraging them. We're giving them role models, and that's kind of our whole focus. So I'm going to tell you about a variety of programs, and then I would love, and at any point I can answer questions. So I'm just not talking, but I can just talk as well and tell you about some of our programs. I'm going to show you a couple things online. But the first I want to tell you about is a program that we have. It's one of our oldest programs, and it's one of the first of its kind in the country. And it's a mentoring program that we started about 15 years ago called LifeWorks Mentoring. Anybody ever heard of the LifeWorks program? I think so. Okay. So LifeWorks Mentoring is, again, based on this idea that if we can give a young person an adult role model, a supportive person, how helpful that can be. And it was started, thinking that a lot of young folks weren't coming out to their parents. This is, again, 15 years ago. And so we called it LifeWorks because it was a kind of a generic name that would apply to a lot of things, and it didn't have any LGBT, gay, queer, anything like that in there. And this program is still going strong, serving hundreds of youth every single year. And the idea is that we pair up a young person with an adult mentor for 1 year. And during that time, it's really a youth-led program that the youth just says to the mentor what they're looking for, what they need. Sometimes they want to be matched with someone that's in a similar career field that they're in. Sometimes they want to be with someone who maybe is a parent because they want to be a parent one day, and they want to meet another queer person who is a parent and see what that's like navigating that. Sometimes they want someone who has a similar identity to them, either a gender identity, a cultural identity, sexual orientation. So we do a very thorough application process with the young person, interview them, get to know them, see what they're looking for. And then we have a mentor pool that we kind of look through all the mentors that we have and then begin the matching process. It's an incredible program. I do think it has saved lives and it's changed lives. I've been involved with it, like I said, for about 10 years. One story I'll tell you is a young man who was not out to his parents. He also was brought over with his parents from Mexico. So he was an undocumented young person, very shy, very much in his shell, but reached out to us online looking for a mentor. And so we matched him with a gentleman who works at Paramount Pictures, not because he was interested in entertainment, but again, what he was looking for and who this mentor was matched beautifully. Instead of spending just 1 year together, they ended up spending 3 years in a mentorship program. This young person went on to Los Angeles City College with the support of his mentor to apply and to get into City College, get financial aid. But this young person was brilliant, and the mentor could see it. And so the mentor said, hey, there's an organization called the Point Foundation. They give scholarships to LGBTQ youth. I think you should apply for this as you think about where you might want to transfer. after you finish at LA City College. So to make a very long story short, he ended up getting a point scholarship, full ride, and he went to UC Berkeley and graduated from UC Berkeley and is now a math teacher in New York City. And it's one of my favorite stories because this person, he just came out of his shell. He became the person who he always was. And it was amazing to see. And that mentorship played a really key role in that, in his life. So let me show you one of our mentorship videos. It'll just highlight it. It's kind of a recruitment video. I don't mean it to, I'm not trying to recruit anyone to be a mentor, even though we'll take mentors. But this gives you a little picture of what the mentorship program is like. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll watch this video.
We need mentors like you.
Like you.
Like you.
Mentors like you.
Like you.
We really need mentors like you.
I'm a youth with a lot going on. I really needed direction in my life.
Because I didn't have any gay friends, I didn't have any connection with the gay community whatsoever.
The Mentor Match program was what I needed.
There's kind of an orphaned quality to LGBTQ youth because you very rarely have someone to model after.
There's just such high rates of family not accepting queer youth.
A lot of us have gone through, period of self-parenting.
All of us can remember back to when we were young and we didn't have those role models in our lives.
There's a mental health aspect to it that really helped me.
In being comfortable in who I am.
It gave me a lasting relationship that I find really valuable.
When there's days I question my identity, Rasa reminds me that it does get better, and we do better, and she's an example of it.
It's amazing. It's fun. Me make a new friend and everything is cool.
The mentors that youth need these days are people that are capable of being honest with themselves.
Someone who can listen.
And that are flexible.
You have to be really patient.
Mentors that are empowering, people who can relate to their experience.
It's so important to have a mentor who understands your pronouns, who understands your identity.
It is a task to break things down for people who don't understand, but having someone who does makes the load feel a lot easier.
That's part of their identity. I'm not defining who they are as people, they are defining who they are as people. And part of my level of respect for them is to honor that.
They know my pronouns, they know everything, they're very accommodating. They make me feel safe and they make me feel like I can be myself around them.
If there's one safe space where you can go and say whatever it is you need to say, all of life is better.
I joined this program because I wanted to be the mentor that I didn't have.
Consider applying to the LifeWorks Mentorship Program.
Consider applying to become a mentor.
Join LifeWorks and find a mentor like I did.
Consider joining the mentorship program here at the LA LGBT Center.
It's time to give back. And I would not be here today, Frankie would not be here today if we had not been helped by someone in our lives. And so now it's time to give that back. Hallelujah.
So that gives a nice little picture of what that program is like. I stopped sharing, but I also want to make sure nothing starts on YouTube. That's one of the things that happened. There you go. So it's a great resource, and that is really for any young person ages 24 and under. The youngest youth that we ever had in our mentorship program was 10. The average age is anywhere between 16 and 21. But yeah, it's a really great program and a really great resource. The other thing that we have is a school-based program where we work directly with youth in schools. And it's called the CAN program. It stands for the Community Action Network. And in that, we have, if a young person or a teacher comes to us and says, I have a group of students, they either maybe have a GSA, which stands for Gender and Sexuality Alliance. It's kind of like an LGBT club. Maybe they have a club and they just want help kind of giving some direction to the club. Maybe they want to form one. They don't know how to do that. Maybe they have a group of kids that is gathering in a teacher's classroom, but they need some structure. They need some leadership development. So we have a team from the center that will go and work directly with those students in schools. If we're invited on from the campus from students, we're allowed to go on campuses in Los Angeles particularly. And so we have a lot of resources that we will help them think about what kind of days do we want to celebrate in this club, and make an awareness campaign for the rest of your campus. We have helped folks celebrate Pride proms. We've helped students put on assemblies for like National Coming Out Day. We've done celebrations and recognitions for Trans Day of Remembrance. So we usually work with between 10 and 15 schools every single year. And we will rotate that through depending on where the need is. And then we will gather a lot of the leaders from those campuses to the center in Hollywood once a year for like a leadership conference. So it's a great program. And again, we used to just work with high schools, but as we know, kids are coming out and identifying as who they are younger and younger. So we are now working in middle schools, and I'm sure soon we'll be in elementary schools, which I think is incredible. So that's our CAN program. The other thing that we do with the CAN program is that we really do talk about substance misuse in our community. It's not something that a lot of folks are talking about, but if you look at the research, LGBTQ youth are twice as likely to misuse substances as their straight peers. They're 2.5 times more likely to miss school because they're using drugs or alcohol. And so we talk a lot about that with the young people that we work with, and help them to understand that yes, alcohol and drugs has been a part of the LGBTQ community since ever. Gay bars were the place that we were able to connect with each other for a long time, and it's still an important part of our community. So we talk about just kind of understanding what alcohol and drugs mean to the community, and also helping them understand the dangers and the risks, and helping them to have responsible relationships with substances. So I'm really proud of that work. We have funding from the federal government to do a lot of prevention work. And again, there's not a lot out there happening for young folks, especially for queer young people who are at such great risk. So we talk a lot about that with them. I want to tell you about 2 other programs, but neither one of them are things that we do at the center, but they're things that we've been involved in helping the formation of. So there's an organization called HopeLab, and what they do is they develop technology and tools for young people to help them cope with an issue. They started with working with young cancer patients, and they created this kind of a game that they could play on their phones or on the computer just to help them get through their experience of having cancer and recovering from cancer. And they found that it really benefited these young folks in their recovery, but also in their mental health. And so because of the mental health challenges that we still see in queer young people, they wanted to develop a tool designed specifically for LGBTQ youth that would be something that they could do on their own. And I tell folks about this because it's, well, 1, it's brand new, but 2, a lot of times young folks, they need technology. That's the language that they speak. Maybe they're not wanting to go to a therapist. Maybe they don't want to go to a gender sexualities club at school. This is a way for them to be thinking about who they are, a place to go with their questions, and they can go individually and they can go one-on-one. It's called IMI, I-M-I. We were one of the partner organizations that helped this organization, HopeLab, develop it. Again, I want to share my screen just so I can show you a little bit about this. It's very new. And so this is the place. It's imiguide.com, .org, I'm sorry. And as soon as it comes up, I'll show you that a young person can go on here. It's really, it's very simple. There's lots of images. Again, it was developed by youth with youth in mind. And so they can go on here, and if they're feeling stressed, they have questions or thoughts about queerness, they're experiencing or want to think and learn about stigma or gender, they would just click on that. And every single one has videos, games, conversation starters, just all kinds of interactive things that they can do to learn about those 4 areas. There are also, as you can see, there's also if they feel in crisis, if they want to find their local LGBT center, there's lots of resources in here. And then you can see that at any time they can text IMI to this number, and every day they will get like a little mental health boost just to show them that 1, they're not alone, and to remind them to keep positive and focused on the positive things. The young folks who have started using this love it. It's developing constantly. It's like I said, it was released about 2 months ago. It's a very fun, youthful, user-friendly platform and a great resource for you folks to know about. Then the other thing that I want to tell you about is something called Q Chat Space. And if I go to this tab, can you see, did it switch to Q Chat Space? I think so. So this was designed because we know that a lot of queer young folks, they don't live near an LGBT center. And so they don't have a place, excuse me, just one second. They don't have a place that they can go. For the folks who live near Hollywood, they can come by the center. If they live near Long Beach, they can go to the center. So Q Chat Space was developed to allow young people to meet with other queer youth online. Sorry, I apologize. And so these are online chat rooms that are moderated by professionals, and they meet with other young folks throughout the country, and they're in small groups. It's basically just like a small group support system, but it's completely online. So this was developed actually before the pandemic, where we've gotten very used to meeting on Zoom and meeting digitally, but this was developed before that. And so now it's much more common. And I think for young folks, they're going to be much more familiar with doing that. So again, we won't have to watch this video, but I really encourage you to go to qchatspace.org. Is a really great resource, again, for young folks who maybe don't have a place that they can go to be in community and supported by others. I could go on and on and on. I don't want to take up too much time. A couple of the other programs that we have, I'll just list off, and if they have any questions about them, but we have a program called RISE, and RISE works with any youth that are in the foster care system throughout LA County. As you might know, LGBTQ youth make up a really high proportion of youth in foster care, up to 40%. And so we work directly with those young people. We work with their families, the group homes, their case managers, to make sure they're getting all the support that they need while they're in foster care. So we have a whole system for that. So sorry. And then we have one more program. Well, we have a lot of other programs, but we have a program called Connect LA. So if you ever come across a young person, maybe that is disconnected from their family, and maybe they're struggling with financial resources or just not having that safety net of a family, we work with those young folks to help them connect to a family, whether it is biological family or chosen family. And we just help make that happen. And we have a budget to help them reconnect with folks. And we've seen a lot of young people move in with aunts or uncles or teachers or a mentor or a theater coach, someone that they felt like is a family member to them. Because, you know, young folks need to be connected to family, whether it's their biological one or their chosen one. So Connect LA is our program that helps folks think about where they can be connected. So I'll stop there. It's a lot I just threw at you. There's a lot of, again, we're so grateful to have organizations like PFLAG. You are doing the grassroots work with each other, trying to support our young people. At the center, we're trying to do the same thing. And a lot of times we have programs and services that are available to the entire county, but that no one knows about. So part of me coming here today was to be able to share some of these things with you.